Hey yo, today I'm going to explain the quantum physics, rocket science, E=mc² type stuff that is arena scoring in Fire Emblem Heroes. I hope to make this video as easy to understand as possible to give new players a better understanding of how it works, and to give old players a quick refresher. Even if you don't play arena modes, I hope you find value in this video so you can understand what makes people value certain units more or less. So with that out of the way, let's get right into this. There are three main factors that influence how much an individual unit scores in arena. First is the unit's base stat total, which is the sum of their stats at level 40 with no skills and no merges. This number is calculated in multiples of 5 and always rounds down, meaning a unit with a base stat total of 184 will be calculated the same as a unit with a base stat total of 180. The tricky part is when you take into account certain things that boost your unit's base stat total, so let's get into that. With no merges, most units will have a boon and a bane stat, displayed in blue and red respectively. Boons give +3 to that stat, and banes give -3. Some units will have neither a boon nor a bane and be considered neutral. When a unit receives a merge, their bane is nullified, and thus technically receives an additional boost of 3 points to their base stat total. These 3 extra stats are added to the unit's base stat total in arena calculations. Every unit comes with a set of super boons and super banes, which affect the stats by 4 instead of 3. In the case of a super boon, that additional stat, being 3 versus 4, is added to the unit's base stat total in arena calculations. So to sum up both those points, to find out a unit's optimal arena scoring base stat total, find their base stat total with no merges and no skills at level 40, add 3 more points to that, and if the unit has a super boon, add an additional point. This means a unit like Balthus, who has a base stat total of 181 at level 40 with no merges, can reach the 185 BST scoring bracket since he gets an additional 3 from merge and then 1 additional point from a super boon in either attack or speed. Again, this number is calculated in multiples of 5, so if it was 184 it would just be rounded down, it has to be 185 to reach that next threshold. Also note that things like Dragon Flowers, Ascended Flora, Summoner Support, or Resplendent Outfits do not affect a unit's base stat total. It's just the raw stats, level 40, no skills or merges. If your unit's base stat total at level 40 with no merges or any extra stuff is really low, then you can go ahead and use a dual skill. The tier 4 dual skills treat units' base stat total as if it were 180 for normal units and 175 for legendaries and mythics. Modern legendary units actually have a dual skill built into their legendary effects, so their actual base stat total doesn't really matter, just look at what the thingy right there says. The second factor for scoring is merges. This one's pretty easy. You'll want as many merges on your arena units as possible, optimally +10. It's worth noting that in arena scoring, every merge a unit is away from +10, you can consider their scoring BST to be dropped by 2 multiples of 5. For example, a 185 BST unit at +9 will score the same as a 175 BST unit at +10. The third aspect of arena scoring is the combined SP cost of all your unit's skills. Generally speaking, you'll want all your skills to cost as much SP as possible, but there's a few exceptions, so let's just get into it. The assist and special slot are easy. The assist skills that cost the most are the ones that end in a plus, so Rally plus, Rally Up plus, or Harsh Command plus, anything like that. There's a list of special skills that cost the most SP, being Gale Force, Aether, Ruptured Sky, Vital Astra, Blue Flame, Deadeye, and Lethality. You'll pretty much always want one of these. Some units come with a unique non-inheritable preference weapon that costs more SP than inheritable weapons. This will be important in a second. Now for ANC skills. There are 2 different types of inheritable ANC skills. There's ones that cost 240 SP and ones that cost 300 SP. 300 SP skills generally have this shiny yellow border, that's how you can tell them apart. Your first thought might be to put a 300 SP A and C skill on your unit, but this doesn't always have to be the case. A lot of the time, a 240 SP skill will be better for combat and make your arena runs easier. If you want to find out whether or not you absolutely need a 300 SP A and C skill to score optimally, you can refer to this flowchart. Behold, my greatest creation. One case I didn't talk about yet, but is on here, is when your unit has a 300 SP unique B skill and a preference weapon. There are no inheritable 300 SP B skills, which makes this situation rare but also very good. In this case, if you use this 300 SP B skill, unique weapon, 300 SP A and C skill, your unit's BST will be treated as if it were bumped up by an additional multiple of 5 in the arena scoring calculation. So for example, a unit with 180 BST that has a preference weapon and a 300 SP A, B, and C skill will score the same as a unit with 185 BST. Also real quick, when you inherit a skill, it costs more SP to learn it on the new unit, but the arena scoring calculation only cares about what it cost before it was inherited. Also, just make sure in your Sacred Seal slot you have a skill that normally costs 240 SP, as it is taken into account when scoring. Now, to make sure you understand how all this stuff works, we're going to play a little game. Is it optimal? Powered by ConnorZach. All you have to do is tell me whether or not the unit on the screen is properly set up to score as good as they possibly can in Arena. I will be giving you the unit's base stat total at level 40 with no merges, as well as the stats they have super boons in. Be sure to keep this in mind. If a unit is 4 base stat total points away from a multiple of 5, make sure they have a super boon, and for SP's costs, remember the flowchart. First up, we have this Yanfei. Pause the video if you need some more time to think. This Yanfei is scoring as good as he possibly can in Arena, but is still technically not optimal. Since he has a unique preference weapon, as we can see in the flowchart, he only needs a 240 SPC skill, which may make him better at combat. So let's just fix him up real quick. We're going to give him a Tempest skill since he can afford that, since he has that unique weapon, but still, he is scoring optimally. Next up is Balthus. This Balthus is not optimal. First, since he does not have a unique preference weapon, he needs a 300 SPC skill to get enough total SP to score optimally. Also, since his BST is 181 and 4 away from getting to the next threshold, he needs a super boon to bump him up that extra point and reach the 185 bracket. So if we make those fixes, this is what an optimal scoring Balthus would look like. Okay, next up is this Brave Dimitri. This Brave Dimitri is not optimal. This was a trick question. Everything is perfect except for one thing. His assist and special skill aren't max scoring. Positional skills like reposition cost very little SP, so you'll always want a rally plus, and you want your special to be from that list of max scoring specials from before. His 300 SP unique B skill means he needs both a 300 SP A and C skill, which he has here, and he does need that super boon in defense since his BST is 4 away from reaching a multiple of 5. With some minor changes, this is what an optimal scoring Dimitri would look like. Finally, we have this Brave Lyn. This Brave Lyn is scoring optimally. The skill Colorless Dual Cavalry 4 makes it so in arena scoring, her BST is treated as 180, and her assist and special skill are good. Since she has a unique 300 SP B skill, she needs a 300 SP A and C skill, which she has here, therefore treating her as if her BST was bumped up that additional 5 points. She will actually score the same as a 185 BST unit here thanks to that, and as a matter of fact, all 4 units I just showed will score the exact same in Arena. Wow. Isn't that something? Okay, that's it for Is It Optimal? Now let's move on to one final thing before we wrap up this video, being legendaries. When a legendary hero enters an arena match with a unit that is blessed with the appropriate blessing, that unit receives a flat increase to their score. Okay, just flat up, straight up, legendaries boost scores. The thing is, everything about merging, total SP cost, and BST also applies to legendary heroes in Arena. So to take your score even further beyond, what you need to do is bring a highly merged legendary with all those skills, all that stuff. Then you need 2 maxed out scoring units and a high scoring bonus unit, all with the appropriate blessing matching your legendary hero. And there we have it, the perfect Arena team. If you want to find out what your team scores, then you can look up Arena calculators online. There's plenty of good ones out there. I can put a link to the one I use in the description below. It's great. You can find out a lot through there. If you're still confused about anything at all, then please leave a comment and I'll try to help you out as best as I can. If after watching this video you want to maybe merge up a legendary unit, but you don't know which ones are good, check out my legendary tier list here. It's specifically made for the Arena modes. And if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing to my YouTube channel ConnorZach, where I make some Fire Emblem Heroes content like this, and I also stream from time to time. This is super fun. Make sure you catch those streams. But of course, thank you guys so much for watching.